Today, we shall study about social movements. In this chapter, we will learn about meaning, nature, origin and evolution of social movement, environment movement, women's movement, alcohol prohibition movement, farmers movement, workers movement, untouchability prohibition movements. In previous session, we had learnt about meaning, nature, origin and evolution of social movement, environment movement, women's movement, alcohol prohibition movement, farmers movement, workers movement, untouchability prohibition movements. These will be discussed in today's session. Women's movement. Among all the mass movements that took place during 1980s across the political parties, women's movement is very important. It is a movement that opposed the patriarchal values exploiting women and the creation of inequality on the basis of gender. In spite of all these protests, the number of women affected by dowry is still high. Exploitation of women in the independent India have underwent a lot of transformation. Patriarchal values that consider women as a mere slave has created inequalities in the society. Comparing the other movement, women's movement is very important. It is a movement that opposes the patriarchal values exploiting women. Patriarchal means where the father will be the head of the family. We call it as patriarchal. So this movement opposed the patriarchal values exploiting women and creation of inequality on the basis of gender. In spite of all these protests, still women are affected in the name of dowry. In these unequal situations, women are subjected to physical and mental abuse, dowry harassment, rape and the other exploitations every day. Domestic violence has curtailed the independence of women within the house and also outside the house. The exploitation of women has taken new forms like acid attacks, kidnaps and human trafficking. The earlier honor of clan has transformed into honor killing. Women are denied many rights explained in our constitution under Article 14, 15, 16 and 39 for equal rights for work and wages. Unequal situations, women are subjected to physically and mentally they are being tortured. Not only that, dowry harassment, rape and other exploitations are taking place every day. And with this, domestic violence is also raising day by day. And the other exploitations like acid attacks, kidnap, human traffickings are raising high. Women are denied many rights explained in our constitution. These rights are given to the women, but they are denied even today. Rights which are mentioned in the Article 14, 15, 16 and 39. and these rights are connected for equal rights for work and wages. Alcohol Prohibition Movement. Among various movements designed by the women pressing for alcohol prohibition is an important one. This movement is different as a lot of women have shown a lot of unity in the struggle. Total alcohol prohibition was a part of freedom struggle. Gandhiji proposed the total prohibition concept during the freedom struggle. This also became a part of Chipko movement. It also became a part of environmental movements that took place in coastal Karnataka and in Malenadu. Women played an important role in alcohol prohibition movement. Total alcohol prohibition was a part of a freedom struggle. Gandhiji proposed the total prohibition concept during the freedom struggle. This movement also became a part of Chipko movement. It also became a part of environmental movement, which took place in coastal Karnataka and Malenadu region. Kusma Soraba and others along with her have lost their lives. Apart from this, women have protested against sales of liquor in Hassan, Kolar, Mandya and Chamarajanagar district. Alcoholism creates a lot of problem at personal level as well as community level. It has created severe problems in lives of rural women. The laborers lose their small earning to this addiction. Hence, women have come together to organize protest against alcoholism, which has created a lot of problems in their life. Kusma Soraba and other women have lost their life during this protest. And these protests took place in Hassan, Kolar, Mandya, Chamarajanagar district. Alcoholism creates a lot of problems at personal level as well as community level. It also creates problem mainly for rural women. Laborers lose their small earnings to this addiction. So women have come together to organize protest against alcoholism, which has created a lot of problem in their life. Next, we will study about farmers' movement. The farmers' movement began with the denial of land tax. Later, they tried to express their problem in the face of economic problems, besieged their community during the later part of 21st century. During 1980s, among all the social movements, it is the farmers' movement that is more important. The farmer movement started with the denial of land tax. They expressed their problems in the face of economic problems. And this started the later part of 21st century. And farmer movement is the most important movement during 1970s. D. Devaraja Arsu became the Chief Minister of Karnataka and ushered in various social reformations. He strived to bring in various legal measures to free the downtrodden from the shackles of caste system. Measures were taken to free farmers from the clutches of tenancy system and bounded labor. Apart from releasing the farmer from debt, the minister, Mr. Basvalingappa, tried to eradicate the practice of carrying night soil on the head. The Chief Minister of Karnataka, D. Devaraja Ars, brought many social reforms. He strived to bring in various legal measures to free the downtrodden from the shackles of caste system. Downtrodden means who were ill-treated due to the caste system. He tried to improve their conditions. He also took the measure to free the farmer from the clutches of tenancy system and bounded labor. He tried to free the farmer from two things. One, tenancy system, and the other one is bounded labor. And the minister, Mr. Basvalingappa, he tried to help the farmers from the debt. And he also tried to eradicate the practice of carrying night soil on the head. D. Devaraj Ars, former Chief Minister of Karnataka, who ushered in revolutionary changes for the welfare of poor and downtrodden. He strived to bring various legal measures to free the downtrodden from the shackles of caste system. Not only that, he even tried to free the farmers from tenancy and bounded labor. In the later duration, farmers' movements were organized to attract the attention of the government for the various problems faced by the farmers. The governments tried to tackle the farmers' movement as politically motivated movement by using police ordering, firing and lathi charge. In 1980s, the farmers of Naragun revolt. In 1980s, the farmers of Naragun revolt against the government's attempts to use force against the farmers. The farmers' revolt of Naragun was not only a protest of high-handedness of police, it was also a total pro-farmer movement. In the later stage, the farmer movement were organized to attract the attention of the government for the various problems faced by the farmers. Later, it was tackled by using the police ordering, fire and lathi charge. In 1980, the farmers of Naragun revolted against the government's attempt to use force against the farmers. The farmers' revolt of Naragun was not only a protest of high-handedness of the police, it was also a total pro-farmer movement. After the Naragun revolt, farmers' movement leader Professor M.D. Nanjundaswamy, a socialist, founded Karnataka Rajya Raita Sangha. This organization came into existence with the presidentship of Rudrappa, a Gandhian from Shimoga. Professor M.D. Nanjundaswamy was named as the convener and N.D. Sundaresh was named as a secretary of the organization. It put forth various conditions. Due to the unscientific price fixation, the farmers are in distress and hence the government should stop seizure of the properties of the farmers for their debts. Villages which lack infrastructure should be developed immediately. Villages should get their share out of their resources extracted. Levy system should be stopped and many other demands were placed. After Naragun revolt, the farmers' movement leader, Professor M.D. Nanjundaswamy, a socialist, founded a Sangha, Karnataka Rajya Raita Sangha. He played a very important role in farmers' movement. He put forth many conditions to the government. The first one in that, due to unscientific price fixation, the farmers are in distress and hence the government should stop seizure of the properties of the farmer for their debts. The farmer, that means the farmer who borrowed the money as a loan from the government should not take their properties. That was his condition. Next, the villages which lack infrastructure should be developed immediately. That is, infrastructures, basic facilities have to be provided in the villages. And not only that, villagers should get their share out of their resource extracted. They should get a profit in it. And next one is levy system should be stopped. That is, tax on the goods should be avoided. And many other demands were put forth. Professor M.D. Nanjundaswamy, who was a socialist, founded Karnataka Rajya Raita Sangha. Labour's movement. Usually, labour's movement or trade unions represent the ordinary workers. Labour movement is a movement demanding better working condition and a pay for the workers, along with the demand for the implementation of labour-related legal provisions. The movement that is held through the trade unions is called as labourer movements. In many countries, trade unions have also become the political parties. Pro-labor philosophy has been evolving in opposition to exploitation of the capitalism. Labour movement or trade unions represent ordinary workers. The main aim of this movement is giving better working condition and improve the pay for the workers. Along with these demands, they try to implement of labour-related legal provisions. The movement that is held through the trade unions is also called as labour movements. In European countries, due to industrializations, there was a drop in the employments available in agricultural sector and more employment were there in the industrial sector. This resulted in the migration of workers towards industries. This led to over-exploitation of workers. They were forced to work for longer hours. The laborers became aware of this exploitation and became organized opposing these developments. During 19th century, workers' parties and trade unions started organizing workers all over the world. In European countries, due to the industrialization, employment availability was less in agriculture sector. So, people started moving from agriculture sector towards industrial sector. So, this resulted in migration of workers towards industry. And this led to the exploitation of workers. Due to this, the workers were forced to work for longer hours. The laborers became aware of this exploitation and became organized opposing these developments. The International Working Men's Association is the first labor union established in London in the year 1864. The main aim of this association was to protect the interest of the workers. They wanted to implement 8 hours shift of working only. International Working Men's Association is the first labor union which was established in London in the year 1864, and their main aim was to protect the interest of the workers, and they also wanted to implement 8 hours shifting of working only. The labor movement spread to other parts of the world during later part of 19th centuries. In order to protect the social security of workers, the Government of India implemented Act in 1923 to ensure social security, and this Act helped the Indian trade unions. Government of India implemented an Act in the year 1923 mainly to ensure social security to the laborers, and this Act helped the Indian trade unions. The various associations could gain legislative recognition. After this, many laborers' unions were started, and they have continued to protect the rights of the workers. There are many labor unions who have continued with the work. So the various associations could gain legislative recognition. After this, many laborers' unions were started, and they continued to protect the laborers. Last one regarding untouchability prevention movement. We have read about untouchability in social stratification lesson. Untouchability is an inhuman practice of stratified society. Untouchability prevention movement is a movement aimed at achieving eradicating of practice of untouchability and attacks on the untouchable people. History of untouchability opposition movement in the 19th century. Jyotiba Phule organized a movement including untouchables and backward classes. The aim of the movement was to oppose Varna system and resist the dominance of caste social system. With this aim, various movements were started in the state like Karnataka, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh during 1917. By 1925, Periyar Ramaswamy started self-respect movement in Tamil Nadu. Untouchability is an inhuman practice of stratified society. Jyotiba Phule organized a movement including untouchables and backward classes. And the aim of this movement was to oppose Varna system and to resist the dominance of caste social system. In Tamil Nadu, in the year 1925, Periyar Ramaswamy started self-respect movement. In the Round Table Conference of 1930s, Ambedkar called for the untouchables to become the rulers of India. Ambedkar continued his fight for the rights of Dalit. Dalit means untouchable, low caste people. Ambedkar continued to assert the right of untouchables and women throughout his life. He started a periodical named Mookanayaka and was instrumental in organizing of various movements against the practice of untouchabilities. Gandhiji considered liberation from untouchability along with the national freedom. He was a social reformer. Even today, many organizations and associations are active in the work of eradication of these evil practices. Ambedkar and Gandhiji played an important role in eradicating untouchability. Ambedkar called for the untouchable to become the rulers of India. Ambedkar continues his fight for the rights of Dalits, and he started a periodical named Mookanayaka and was instrumental in organizing of various movements against the practice of untouchability. Gandhiji considered liberation from untouchability along with the national freedom. These are the leaders who played an important role in eradicating untouchability: Gandhiji, Ambedkar, Jyotiba Phule, Periyar, E.V. Ramaswamy. Today's assignment: mention some of the reforms introduced by Devaraj Ars. Devaraj Ars is the Chief Minister of Karnataka. He played an important role in freeing the farmers from tenancy and bounded labours. He strived to improve the condition of downtrodden. So these are the points you are going to write in the first question. What was the aim of International Workings Men Association? You will write the aims. Only 2 aims you have to write about the International Working Men's Association. Their aim was to protect the interest of the workers and the right to an 8 hours working a day. Remember, first is to protect the interest of workers and right to an 8 hours working a day. The next one is, what are the aims of untouchability prevention movement? You will write what was their aim to prevent untouchability. The main thing is here you will write about eradicating the practice of untouchability and preventing attacks on the untouchable people. It is a movement against caste-based social exploitation. Write a short note on the alcohol prohibition in Karnataka. You will write the important points I've explained about alcohol prohibition in Karnataka. All the points has to be written in this. Thank you, children. We'll meet in the next session with a new lesson.